All right. Welcome to Catch the Craze, a different screen, a different scene. I'm your host with the most at the crazy man, Vert. And I am with.
George the Dreamer Medina. What up, kid?
Can you hear it?
I can hear you. Yeah. Oh, I can hear it.
Oh, nice.
I can hear it loud and clear. Finally, I can hear myself.
Finally, it's happened to me.
Finally.
Finally. So there's
Holy.
somebody in. Oh, we got Ferdius in the waiting room. We're toy photographer.
All right. That's what's up.
Yes, that's what's up. Yes. So we're good.
All right.
What's up, Ferdius? We'll let you on in a second. We're 3 out of 10 people on the stream. Okay, so yeah, it's only 10 at a time. So before we start letting people in, George and I will just go over the purpose of the show today.
All
What is
right.
the
Go
purpose,
for it.
George?
Give them a little background. Well, today is the day before the launch of Forbidden, which is a book that obviously we all know dear and near to Sam's heart, as he is the creator and writer and producer, and you wear a lot of hats on this endeavor. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about the Indiegogo campaign, what you're going to be able to get from it. If we get more and more people up in here in the chat, I want to have a nice little Q&A with Sam so we can bombard him with questions about his book and how he came up with it and why he came up with it and all that other fun stuff. So
yeah. So basically, the agenda tonight will be to answer questions that you may have and you may want to know about Forbidden. If you are in the chat room, just give us a wave. Let us know that whether you're on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, or YouTube. But the purpose of tonight is to really just to talk about Forbidden. It's 20 years in the making.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a fourth person in the waiting room. We're trying to see who that is. It's Mr. Syphax.
Syphaxius in the house.
We're gonna let you on in a second. And while he works out his stuff, look at Syphax with the glasses, looking very, very smart. So, what's up, Daphne Lage in his house? And so, basically, to talk about Forbidden, why after 20 years to do it now and release it, what is Forbidden? And then if we get at least 10 people in the chat, we will have a raffle. We'll have a few raffles. So let's start the conversation, and I'll bring in Johnny Boy, and then we'll bring in Ferdius. Johnny!
Yeah, y'all.
Yeah,
Yes,
oh
we
yeah,
can
loud
hear
and
you.
clear,
Y'all hear
brother,
me
loud
now?
and clear. Yes, sir.
You know what?
Yes.
The funny thing is, I tried to do it on my phone, but my phone was the system, but my laptop. So I'm actually doing this through my laptop.
There you go. Awesome. So we're gonna bring in one of our guests from Catch the Craze. Ferdius is in the waiting room as well. So let's bring him on in. What's up, Ferd? Are you there?
Oh, he was silent. He was silent. He's shy. He's shy. What's going on, Johnny? Oh, there he is.
Chilling,
What's up, Ferd?
chilling,
How you doing?
room, chilling. Figured,
He's working on his stuff. So while he does that, Johnny boy, we got you're in the photo, in the group photo on the Indiegogo page. Hello?
I am about to check that out. I'm definitely going to hit off a pledge, man. Get my Forbidden on. Crazy,
Yeah.
Catch the Craze on. Have to get my Forbidden on.
Oh, yeah.
Life is not the same without Forbidden. I'm telling you.
No,
Especially, dude, you out here? Are you
and
getting
my
ready
cat.
to be
I'm gonna
shut?
show you my little pain in the ass cat.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
boy.
becoming a party. So Ferdius is working
I
on his
would
audio.
like to be.
Daphne, shout out to all those 20-year-old passion
I would like to
projects.
be.
Yes,
You don't want
indeed.
to get down. See?
Oh, I don't think Johnny can hear us.
Johnny.
John, can you hear us?
No, I heard you.
Well, Johnny.
I heard you. You were
Well, Johnny. Oh, okay, let me
shouting out
see.
the project.
We
It's
got
a
another.
delay.
We got
Yeah, yeah.
another person on the show. We got
Y'all hear me, right?
Mark.
Yes, sir.
It came for the radio. Just joined.
Oh, there's Marky Mark and the Funky Punch.
Does this work? Testing, testing.
Oh, it's working, buddy. Good there. There we are. We got you.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, shout out to the 20-year-old price. It just reminds me that time is not my friend right now. As you can see, I got the crow's feet coming in fast and furious. I didn't get my makeup on today, but
What? Joey Crack in the house. What up, Joe? Joe
What's-
Holly saying hello.
what's up, Joey?
It is a
Hey,
party. It is a party.
it's
So,
fun.
so everybody, if you guys have
Nice.
questions for
Nice.
Sammy, I definitely wanna
Nice.
wanna roast him with a bunch of questions about his project. So get those questions ready for a little later on today.
Yes, whatever questions that you guys may have, I'm here to answer it. Talk about Forbidden. If you've seen, Joe is at work. Yeah, no. Let's see. So if you've seen the trailers, if you have not, I'll play it tonight. And basically, we'll go from there. I just put the link. So if you're watching on Facebook or Twitch or YouTube, there's the link to the landing page. We go live tomorrow. I might just have itchy finger tonight and go live tonight. But the page is done. I finalized it today. It was interesting doing it because the Kickstarters, George did it. And so I did the Indiegogo. So it was a interesting experience because Indiegogo has all these size parameters that you have to comply with for specific things like the perks and all that other stuff. So you have to make sure the images fit in a specific dimension. We didn't have those issues on Kickstarter. But I'm excited. I'm excited after 20 years. George kept telling me, hey, when are you going to bring out Forbidden? And I was like, I don't know. And then I pulled out the book and I reread it. And I was like, and then the fire just lit. And I started rewriting the whole thing. And then I went out and I think I found him on DeviantArt. I found an artist to finish the project because Anibal elected not to take on the rest of the project. And I found what's it? Some Prima Santra is his name. He's the artist, and he did the other last 4 issues of Forbidden. So the entire arc is done, and we're excited. We're going to start off with issue 0.
That's awesome, brother. That's awesome. And for everybody who's on here now, if you guys have questions, just shoot them over because Sammy's ready. Sammy
All right.
is ready.
Let's have the most important question. Why is it called Forbidden?
Nice.
Boom.
I'm not feeling comfortable with these questions, but there's that. So why is it called Forbidden? So it's called
Good
Forbidden.
question.
It's called Forbidden because centuries ago there were 2 things. Prima Sancha is no longer in the room, but centuries ago there were 2 things that happened. There was a race of people that they were grouped up into hunters, farmers, and like warlords. And a group of hunters went off to hunt for food for the villagers, and they entered a forbidden forest. That's the first cue. And they knew they weren't supposed to go in there, but they did. And because they did, they were immediately attacked by the evil dwellers within there called creepers. And one made it back to the village. The others didn't. And so at nightfall, a representative of the underworld was standing at the head of the village and said, give us, enemy entertainment, hola, said, give us, George's like, Sam can't do it.
He's gonna kill you, bro. All these little pop-ups.
I know. It says, give us the person who has desecrated our land and nothing would happen to you. And if you don't, you will suffer the wrath of Nokron. They chose not to. The next morning when they woke up, they woke up to screams. The villagers were dying from the sun. The sun was burning their bodies alive. So they raced, and those who can get away ran underground, and were never to be seen again, forbidden from walking the surface ever again. So the world has evolved centuries, years later. Technology, cell phones, but they have not, and they've remained underground ever since. So that's why the word forbidden? Did I answer your question?
It did. Do I get a follow-up?
You get a
Oh, yeah,
follow-up.
dude.
Yes, go ahead.
So normally, from my personal experience, your books are usually lighthearted, family-friendly entertainment. This does not sound lighthearted, family-friendly entertainment. What was the decision to go a darker route?
When remember, I created Forbidden before. Let's see. Hold on. I created Forbidden before. What I gotta do? I gotta do that. Okay, there it goes. I created Forbidden way before I created There's Nails in My Toilet. Cosmic Wars I created before Forbidden. And the reason why I created Forbidden is I was, when I first started Crazy Comics, it was Crazy Skills Productions before Crazy Comics. And at that time, I wrote a book called Tales of an Assassin. And we never got to see that book through because I started with a group of guys and a lot of them fell off. And then I started working on Cosmic Wars on my own. I worked with George. What's up, Anibalo Warriors con Pollos? And I started working from George, and then we brought on the other guys. And Forbidden came to me through Sin. I created Sin the character first, and I started with his name. And I said, why is his name Sin? That can't be his birth name. And that's where I started working. I started working backwards from there. So he had to do something to get the name Sin. And what was that something? And then started adding the other players, and then it went into his sister and then his father, and from that on, and that's how the story started forming. So at that time I wasn't thinking of an audience. I was thinking it was just flowing naturally when I was developing it.
Good stuff. Mark, you stole two of my questions. Good job, buddy. I appreciate that. But I do have another question. I do have one question for you, Sam. So, are the characters in Forbidden people you know? Is that how you created your characters, or are these just fictional characters that you'd never heard of, or are these people you know? How did you create these characters?
The people I don't know. The characters. So this is the part where it sounds kind of weird and wanky. I believe that when you're in that creative space, that you're being channeled by some poet or some artist that went on to another life, and they're just using you as their funnel to create. So I use names like Desiree was a play off my wife's name, Desiree. And so I used names, and Arias was a play. I used Arias because my niece's name is Ari, but I changed it to Arias. And so there you'll see similarities. Jakku came because when I grew up watching Roots. I grew up watching Shaka Zulu. I grew up, and so the name Jakku was very a powerful name, and I didn't want to take Shaka because I didn't want to try to rip off of something that was already created. So that's why I came up with Jakku as the African prince that's in the book.
Roger that. Now, for everybody who just joined us, we are going to have a raffle if we get enough people up in here. So I've already started the names, and I'm going to put them in a hat. And as we go along, we're gonna get going with this little raffle action. So
yeah, we need
at
least 10 people. At least 10 people. What's up, Ferdius? What's up, Jonathan? Anybody have questions? Anybody in the chat?
Johnny, you got anything? Come on, I know you got questions.
This is very man, can I share my Mark Hamill story? Because this is very relevant to this.
Yeah, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Oh, wait, go ahead, Jonathan. Go, Jonathan.
All right, go ahead. Who's going first?
Jonathan, go.
Who's on first? I just saw the trailer that you did, and I heard the great background music of Conan the Barbarian. How much of Conan truly was in the writing of the story? Use the theme song.
Oh, none. You don't. No. I used the themes because I needed some sort of dramatic, powerful soundtrack when I was posting, and so I used the theme from 300. I used it from Conan. I used it from a bunch of different from Lord of the Rings. because they were just powerful soundtracks. It had no relation. So when you read Forbidden, you're not going to see any resemblance to Conan other than the fact that the underground, the way they dress, it's very old world. Stop acting up.
Mark, what's your Mark Hamill story?
All right, so when I got a chance to meet Mark Hamill, it was a round table, and we were all and it was all taking turns to interview him. So we all sat down. Mark Hamill came to us, and he was already talking when he sat down, and he said, "So anybody has any questions?" So I look around, nobody says anything, so I ask my first question. Mark Hamill is an older guy, so he just has a story. He just goes. He finishes his question. Nobody else says anything. I look around, so I ask a second question. And once again, Mark Hamill finished, had his real long story. And then the lady comes over and says, "Time's up." And all the other people, they look at me like they want to murder me for taking all the time and asking all the questions. So that's why, like, right now, you're like, "Anybody got a question?" I got questions. I just want to take up all the time.
That's a great story, dude.
That is awesome.
Well, Daphne posted a question there.
Yeah, she
Sam.
did. Daphne posted, after working on it for 20 years, at what point did you feel Forbidden was ready? Forbidden was ready when I felt it was 100% ready back in 2018 when I finished the script. Because I started when I walked away from comics, only 2 issues were ever written. The entire Bible was written. All the characters were developed, but I never continued from issue 2. When I went back in 2018 and opened up the story, and I read it, and I saw some gaps. I filled in those holes, and then I realized that there was some characters that needed to be added into the story. And once I finished all that, and it was I use a dry erase board when I create. And so it's almost like a pie chart. I wind up linking the characters and the plots together to just make sure everything lines up and it gets to the end game. And when I was done, I felt that I can stand tall on that and walk away knowing that I finished a product that I'm 100% in love with. So it wasn't until 2018 when I opened it up and finished it. And let's see. Thank you, John, for John Celeste. Street in the house. He says we need a traffic cop. Yeah, I know. We need a mall cop.
Yeah.
And
Michelle St. Martin is lurking. What's up, Michelle?
is there. I'm lurking. She's peeping.
So enemy. John's got a question. Do you see it as an ongoing series or as a novel-based series?
So I finished the arc to be able to put it as all right. So as an independent, I had to pick and choose my battles. Where am I going to get the biggest bang for my buck? So I was like, you know what? If I'm going to try to invest my own money at the time when I finished it, the goal was to get an ISBN number, barcode, and get it collected and get it into stores and bookshelves. And then it wasn't until I restarted the podcast and George and I started working together again, and we started talking about Kickstarters. And then George's like, let's start off with the issues first, and let's build an audience and introduce it one issue at a time. So the goal is by the end of the year, hopefully have it all collected in a collected trade paperback. I want a hardcover. I want it to be the 138 pages that it is, plus an additional 40, 50 pages of conceptual art behind the story development, all that stuff. So I want it to be a really good big book. So this Indiegogo will be my first Indiegogo ever, and my third campaign so far. 2 on Kickstarter, and this is our first Indiegogo. So the success of issues 0 will determine what I do next going forward.
Cool. So Sam, for the people who are on here, I'm sure a lot of us already know what the story is about, but give us a quick what the story is about and what they will be getting in the first 16 pages of the Indiegogo campaign.
Okay. So what you're going to get in the first 16 pages is an introduction to it takes off when the sin happens. So it takes off when um it takes off in the present before you get the backstory, and it starts off where the son of Vox, who is young, overzealous, ambitious, foolish, um, wants to challenge the curse. He wants to challenge whether or not it's real. He's tired of being underground. He wants to go to the surface. And so he commits the ultimate sin. And that's where the story takes off from there. Lord Vox, who's been the keeper of the Nocturnals, to making sure that they never rose to the surface because they will die, and that's what they've been known. They're known forever. But so Nocron has evolved with the world. Nocron is the one that cast the curse on the villagers, the Nocturnals. And Nocron's plot is to take over the globe in the form of David Hunter, a billionaire mogul. Right? And everything is fine as long as the legend doesn't come true. And legend has it that the son of Vox will one day rise and destroy Nocron's plans. And they can never let the son of Vox rise and leave the caverns.
Gotcha. All right.
Let's see.
So John Celestri has a question here. So are you planning it as a bi-monthly is what he said?
We'll see. All depends on what happens. I mean, everything's already written, illustrated, and lettered, and inked. Everything's right except for colored. Nothing's colored yet. So the success of our first campaign will determine my plans for what happens next. So I don't want to think past this campaign. I want to try to make this campaign as successful as possible. I feel that there's a lot of great incentives, a realistic incentive. The goal is very modest, and see what happens from there. So right now, we'll see. There's an incentive for retailers that'll let me know if there's any retailers interested in. One thing that we have different with Forbidden than I see with most campaigns is that we already have issue 0 in Spanish. All right, we got another guest in the waiting room, and so I'm gonna let him in. And so we have it in Spanish as well. So hopefully that brings in another audience that would shy away because they don't read English, and hopefully that'll bring in another audience. So we'll see what happens from this point on. Let's see.
Christian, welcome to the show, Christian. Hey, listen, we're asking Sam questions about Forbidden. So if you have anything, bring it on.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, I'm sure everything's been asked already. Because I know it's an old piece. So you mentioned that it was published 10 years ago plus, right? And then I'm curious, how many copies are out there?
When I went back and looked at my I had a what do you call those? I forgot the name for it. I had a ledger. So when I looked at my ledger from all the cons that I attended, there's about maybe 1,000.
Wow.
Or about 1,000 people that know about Forbidden collectively between all the cons that we attended, between New York through San Diego.
No, I meant did you move 1,000 units?
Yeah, but that was from con to con. So every con was different.
That's a lot of units.
Yeah. So in 2005, 2006 was probably the last time. I think around that time, and then we sold some in local stores like Midtown Comics. They carried it. They sold every copy that they picked up from us. So we distributed locally. We did everything old school.
What year was this?
Forbidden was launched in 05 and then in 06. So 05 and 06.
Wow.
Hey,
That's
John,
good.
John, what's his house, man?
for me as an indie, that's good. That's good movement.
Yeah, I mean, at the time when we were doing it, um, um, we got a lot of great reviews, and from reviews from tough critics too. We got it from Broken Frontier, from Silver Bullets, when Jasmine Online was around at the time, from Writers Roundtable Radio. So we got a lot of great endorsements for the book. You know, I just never capitalized on the time because I walked away from the industry.
How many pages is it?
So we're launching the first introductory issue, which is the 16-page issue 0 with 8 additional pages of maps, character bios, and history, for the introduction on the Indiegogo. Then from that point on, every issue from there on is 24 pages. But the introduction to it, and it's an amazing issue. Anibal did an amazing job with the artwork in that issue. I still believe that Anibal is made for fantasy art. He just does a great job with that stuff.
He's the man.
Yeah. So Anibal says, so you
So-
believe you're a
so
vessel.
So Sam,
The animal steel.
Yes.
so Sam, so with that said, okay, you've had, I mean, I think, what do you have, like 4 or 5 artists that have worked on the book. So who is
Yeah.
your favorite artist on the book?
Of all of them,
Yeah.
they're all unique in their own way. So see that one, David only did one piece. He did the king piece, and I'll share my screen. I'll get it up in a second. Hold on one second. Let me get that up there so I can show
For
you
those
David's.
wondering, his name is David Keeles. He's the artist of this particular piece here.
Yes, David the Wolf.
You know, you just asked him which one of his favorite kids, right?
Yeah, I know. He's being
He's
very
a kid?
political about it. He's like, well, you know, bring something different.
So I'm gonna share my screen. So that piece right
There
there,
you
that
go.
one was done by David. Keeles, if you guys can see it. So I love this piece. David Keeles, is a fantastic illustrator. Just natural. If you ever watched his process, the way he uses inks and blacks, and I just love his style. And I was fortunate that he did this piece. And but Anibal, one of my favorite covers that Anibal has done is where is it? Oh, sucker. I gotta open that one up. Where is it? I'm gonna hide the screen for a sec. Well, I'm gonna show you some of Anibal. So Anibal did this. This was I believe. Where is it? Yeah, so Anibal did this one. I think it's in pencils. Oh, we got another guest in the waiting room. I'm gonna bring him in. So Anibal could explain what he did here, but this I think was in pencil, and this is Sin and Viejo, and this was one of the alternate covers that we did, and you can see it's a different logo back then. So Forbidden back then was very different. This was what is it? This that's the cover for the Indiegogo campaign. Anibal did that as well, and so Anibal has this style that really brings out the characters and the emotion. I really loved his style of art. So
He
I don't
does.
really.
He does great hair, bro. His hair is amazing. Look at Sin's hair in that picture. It's
Yeah, I know.
like,
I think he was watching me comb mine. So this is another cover that Anibal did back then. This is another cover Anibal did.
yeah, he's done a lot of them. The one that you had asked for, Sam, that wasn't done in gouache. That's what he was saying.
Gouache,
It's a
okay.
gouache painting, yeah.
I did that cover.
And the person who just joined us was Michael Gracia. Michael, how you doing, buddy? How's everything?
Doing good. How about you?
Excellent. That's excellent. We're in the middle of just asking Sam all kinds of questions about Forbidden. So if you have anything, and even if we've asked it already, doesn't matter. Just ask away.
You got it. Let me catch up.
Freddie,
I'll
yes,
watch.
you are in the chat. So if you want to talk, if your mic works, you can talk and ask any questions as well. But yes, that's my pinup. But I'm going to pull up the one. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second so I can pull this up. Where is it? Forbidden Sketch. Oh, this is it. All right, cool. This is one of my favorite covers that Anibal did. Um, did I not share it? I took it out. That wasn't nice. Um, all right, there it is. Boom. So that's one of the other covers that Anibal did that I really, really love.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
I love that piece because it tells you everything. You can see old world meets new. You know, the underground versus the surface. You know, you see the new with the technology. Sin that is in there. You see the weaponry. Um, you see Viejo in the background. Jakku. So a lot of these characters, like Jakku, you won't know about Jakku to issue 3. Um, but these are all main critical characters in the series.
Yeah, that's awesome. I remember
Yeah, so
when he first sent that over in just pencils. It was freaking. It looked amazing.
yeah, so I'm going to just if you haven't seen it, I'm just gonna so this way you will understand the history behind it. I'm gonna play this for you guys. Maybe let me maximize it. View enter full screen. I created Forbidden back in 2000. 2005, it was well received by critics and fans alike at Comic Cons and local stores. My goal for Forbidden was to create an epic fantasy tale that would last for generations. I recruited a local artist, Anibal Royal, who took the helm, illustrating the first 2 issues, and only 2 issues back then. After over a decade in limbo, it was time to finish Forbidden and reintroduce it to the world. Deep within the Earth's core lies a race that has existed for thousands of years. A race who are forbidden to walk the surface of the Earth due to a curse cast upon them by the evil known as Akron. Centuries later, the world has evolved. So has Nakron, in the form of a new hunter, a billionaire whose intention is to dominate the globe. Legend has it that one day the son of Fox will rise from the ashes of the earth to destroy all that Nakron has built. And that did never happen. So that is the trailer that will be playing on Indiegogo uh, for Forbidden.
That's great. I love that pose with the silhouette, a guy like this, you know?
Yeah.
Like Animal's stuff is really good in that.
Yes, I
Yeah.
think that's his best work.
It
What's
is his
up,
best.
Pops?
Like Animal, I want to
It's
ask
awesome.
Animal, like, I think you're getting worse, Animal, because that's really good. Like, what's happening with your life?
You're getting worse. Oh, that's awesome.
Are you stressed? What's going on, baby?
What's going
You know?
on, baby?
'Cause
You know what's
that's really
funny?
good. It's really
It's you-
tight. It's like
I
it's
think-
tight as stuff.
Yes, Anibal was definitely. I think I broke his heart. I know, because
Oh,
he was
God.
so committed to Forbidden at the time, and then I got distracted with There's Nailing in My Toilet, and I stopped writing the rest of the issues. And I know that he was not very pleased with that at the time, and so he went a different direction. But I did see Marcus there, and so. But I still believe that's his best work. He has a knack for that style.
So is Annabelle continuing the next
No.
issues now?
No, it was finished. The book was done by Primat Santra. It's an artist that I partnered with. I found on DeviantArt, and he finished the last 4 issues. And I can give you a sneak peek. I'm gonna pull up a sneak peek of one of his pages. You're not gonna see it until the consecutive issues. But hold on one second.
Just a heads up, like I'm watching it on a tablet, and every time you post a picture, it like freezes. So sometimes I have to pop back in. So hopefully
Okay.
you'll hold it up for a minute.
No problem. What is this? I'll find it, and then any questions while I'm looking for it.
So why going to Indiegogo as opposed to sticking with Kickstarter, which was you already have 2 successful campaigns on that?
Because in talking to Mr. J.D. Calderon, one of the things was Indiegogo tends to have a different community than Kickstarter. And so we have something going with the crazies, and we want to continue that momentum with Kickstarter. We decided to try a different venue to introduce a different series and see what the reaction is there. Because we don't, we're new to the entire crowdfunding arena. So the goal is to just try to expose what we do to as many people as possible.
Have you noticed any differences besides the original mentioning of the different spec sizes between the 2 platforms?
It's easier, like in Kickstarter, you have to go through, everything has to be approved. So when you create your campaign, they got to approve your rewards. They got to approve this. You got to approve that. With Indiegogo, they just want to improve your financials. That you have a bank account, and if you're a business entity, they want your tax ID, and that happens like right there. But everything else, from what they didn't scrutinize anything. They just said hit the launch button when you're ready, and that's it. So I'm like, all right.
Yeah,
see.
I think the biggest test is going to be if we reach the goal, like how easy it is to reach that goal, or how soon we get paid off of the goal. I think that with Indiegogo, it's a flex campaign, so you don't have to make your goal in order to get money. They give you whatever you make. So if he makes
Right.
$10 is what he's gonna make. So yeah, it'll be, here he is. Aníbal Arroyo, ready to defend his name. You've been called out, Aníbal. You've been called out. What's going on?
I didn't say it. Just one sec. Wasn't me.
He's on mute.
You're
Yeah, I
muted,
can't
you're
hear
muted.
you.
You're muted.
Oh, I didn't mute him. Did he?
No, he's on mute.
Oh.
He's figuring it out. Yeah, so I guess we'll find out once this thing, hopefully, by the end of the edit, if it's funded, it'll be we'll find out some more differences, I guess.
Yeah.
There's a big comic book kind of community on Indiegogo. Maybe even more on Indiegogo.
Yeah.
Like,
You know what, Christian? I got the book you worked on. That looked great, man. I meant to tell you that.
Which one?
Your friend had created.
Of
And you did
course.
before?
Yeah,
That was an Indiegogo. Yeah, no, that was nice. Very nice, man. Very good work.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And he was
Yeah, so
figure it out.
I'm going to show just maybe one page. I get too much away from, but what? Let me open this up over here and minimize that. All right, so I'm going to share my screen now. Here's a sample page from the artist that took over the helm.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
That's good.
Yeah, he did it fantastic. It's like, oh yeah,
That's good.
I feel like I'm submitting my paper to the teacher.
Yeah.
Christian is like, what the hell?
Yeah, no, that's great. It's a good follow-up.
Yeah.
It almost looks like the same artist.
Yeah, he definitely complimented the story. I went through with the budget that I had at the time, and I went through. I think I had 30 people submit their portfolios, and I was going through all of them, and I found Prima Santra, and I think it took 3 months per issue.
That's not too bad. How many pages per issue?
Well, they got well, the total book is he finished the last 90 something pages.
Whoa.
So he did 9. He penciled and inked in 3 months. Well,
No. He did. It took him a year.
it took him a year. Okay, I was gonna say
For
in
the
3 months, 90
Yeah.
pages.
Yeah.
That's the fastest artist ever, right there.
I know, right?
So you said budget. So you're not gonna pay him with exposure?
So when I did it, I had a job, and I wasn't a brokepreneur. And so when I hired him, at that time, I didn't know, I wasn't even considering a crowdfunding at that time. This was in 2018, and we didn't do our first crowdfunding in 2020. And we're just fortunate that we were lucky enough to raise the money to produce Catch the Crazies issue 1 and 2, and I'm hoping the same for Forbidden.
That's great that you have all these issues banked. You know, like they're fully colored and everything. They're ready to go.
No, they're not.
No.
They're not colored. George is lettering them. Everything is George is on the final few pages of lettering, but everything's black and white right now, and so that's why we're doing the Indiegogos to raise the money to color it.
Oh, okay.
To
Do you
color
have
it
color?
and produce it.
That's
Oh, what
great.
am I doing? That's not it. Oh, yeah.
Sam, do you have a colorist already?
No, not yet. We're waiting to see what happens with the crowdfunding. I'm the one- I have people in mind, but
Okay.
I haven't gone that route yet because I don't want to, again, because I'm a brokepreneur, so I gotta be very careful before I
Yeah.
commit to something.
Well, just the reason I ask is I'd like to recommend the colorist I used on Camouflage if you like his work, so you could take a look. I'll send you a link, and then you could keep him in mind. He's very good. He's very reliable, extremely reliable, very professional.
Awesome. Gracias. Any other questions around the story?
Well, actually, yeah, I was wondering. You may have answered this, but how did the story come about? Like, how did you come up with the idea of story?
Oh yeah. So it started with the character Sin, which is the son of Vox, and it started with him in his surface form. It wasn't in the primitive form, and it was in the evolved state. And like I was saying earlier, when I created him and the name Sin, I asked myself, why is his name Sin? And then the follow up question was, I know that's not his birth name, and then what did he do to get the name Sin? And then it started building backwards from there.
Okay. That's great.
Okay.
Now you said you already had written and published 2 issues. Have you changed any of those 2 issues for the new run?
Maybe dialogue, but not the art. Maybe dialogue. Because the art alone was strong enough, and I didn't need to do anything there. It was just when I finished the story, when it started evolving from issue 3 on, I realized there was some important conversations that needed to take place. So I had to go make sure that some those little cookie crumbs were left in those first 2 issues, so that way you understand where you're going in the follow-up issues. Oh, go ahead, speak.
1, 2, 1, 2.
There you go.
You can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Now we can hear you.
I heard your whole conversation in your house. I don't know if it was your wife in the background or.
Damn, but what? Nobody said anything. I'm thinking I'm still on.
Nah, you back. You back.
What's up, guys?
Yo, what's up?
How's everybody doing?
Good.
We live in.
My camera's not.
Christian just left. I wonder why.
Oh, yeah.
What's that?
Now my camera's
Christian
not
just left. I was waiting.
working.
There he is. There he is.
I think it's hard.
All right.
Sorry, I got cut off.
There you go.
It froze.
Oh, John. Anyway, just left.
My camera's not working, and it froze up.
Turn the camera off. You get better bandwidth that way.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it
I
helps
did.
from not getting kicked
My
out.
laptop is working before.
And no streaming on any other devices. So just have the one that you're on, and don't watch
no.
it on another device.
I had
I know. It's like you're on, you're off. You're on, you're off. Who's that? I okay. So you.
Dude, I have no device.
I thought we see you back.
Okay.
I click the camera picture. It says press B. I press B. Get on the
This is whack. The service kind of bumped me off.
Are you using your phone?
No, I purposely stopped using my phone when I was looking at it and went to my desktop because it suggested using a desktop.
Right.
And then it says it's not that good with Safari as I'm logging in, so that's probably what.
Oh, you gotta use Chrome. I use
my
Chrome.
laptop.
Yeah, that's
Laptop is bugging out again.
yeah.
Yeah.
Who's that, John? I thought I heard
John, yeah, it's John.
Diesel. Chris, what's up, buddy?
The usual.
Yeah,
Nice work,
Yeah.
man.
Huh?
Nice work.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, it's
I'm
I
getting
remember-
worse though, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I have to like rub my eyes.
I'm in the middle of helping my son with his social studies, and I'm listening to it on the. I'm like, oh, what? Huh?
He's like, son, you
Yeah,
gotta
good.
wait.
You can learn some other day.
School's not that important.
staying wet.
Oh man.
so I can if you guys want, I can give you. What's that? What?
Is that Sam? John?
That's Johnny.
John, right?
He sounds like someone's dragging him in an alley.
Yeah.
He's
Off windows that I just
He's opening windows. What?
Shut! Close everything down, man. Close it down.
Yeah, I know. Johnny has too much.
Like smoke coming out of his head right now. Like he's just going crazy. What a visual. What are you gonna show us, Sam?
You think I should show the page of the Indiegogo
yeah.
private screening?
Yeah. When does it officially go live?
It's
It goes live tomorrow.
tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow.
But
Awesome.
Sam is go live today. Sammy just hit live right now.
I'll just hit live.
It's
But-
tomorrow somewhere. Hit the button.
Hold on, I know, right, Indy? Hold on, I'm gonna go and open it. And hold on, I sent that to George, right? Where's my phone?
So was it weird revisiting something that you made so long ago?
It was in the beginning because I had to reconnect with my buddies. You know, I haven't I haven't read them or the book in years, and so when I pulled it out of the chest, I fell in love with it again, and I got inspired, and I just couldn't stop writing, and I just kept writing, and I kept writing, and kept playing, and my office wall looked like a CIS setup because I had post-its and I had arrows and I had all this stuff as I was developing where it's gonna go, and I had fun with it. And so George lettering it, he got a sneak peek into the story, and he'll tell you his response.
There were a lot of things in there that I was not expecting. Because I thought I knew the story because you had written it many years ago, and something must have clicked in your head where you were like, "I'm just gonna change this," and I was like, "What?" And I'm lettering it, so I'm reading as I go along. So I know the story obviously. But it's different. Like even from what even Aniba when you were working on it, it's different from what it was.
Yep.
Some of the what I
Okay.
mean. So it's gonna be fun.
All right.
Okay.
So I'm gonna show the screen. So this is the pre-launch page. I'm gonna go down here so you guys get a bigger shot. So this is it. So I'm doing a 500 flex goal. Again, like I said, it was a modest goal because it's my first time on Indiegogo. And so we start off with the standard $5 for the PDF. It starts off with the trailer that you guys just saw. Then there's a $10 international. So I'm not shipping international, but if there's internationals that want the PDFs, I'm doing they can get the PDF of the book, the PDF sketchbook, and PDF print. So it has the premise there. There's some of the critic reviews, like my dog's acting up. So like they're from Broken Frontier, fans of fantasy and independent comics can rejoice. Forbidden Zero sets the stage for a promising series. and that's when they reviewed issue 1. Paul Dale Roberts wrote an epic masterpiece that is a must read. I was very happy with that. Then we have the Prohibido. We have the Spanish version. So for the our Latin community, they can get this as well. And then we have an intriguing fantasy setting with good, strong dialogue by Silver Bullets. Then we go into like the Nocturnal Rewards, which is the book and the print for $15. Which is a 11 by 17 poster, and that cover right there. That cover is going to be the hollow foil cover, the one by David Quiles. Then we have the Cavern Award, which is the hollow foil cover, the PDF sketchbook, and the print. Yeah, I believe so. Yep, and then then we have the gold cover, which will be the King cover that I did. That's going to be in gold, and that one comes with that cover, Anibal's cover, the sticker, the poster, and the PDF sketchbook. Then we get the retailer package. So there's a retailer package. If they get 10 copies, they will get a commission sketch card from me for every 10 copies that they order. So I decided to do that. Then there's the
I'm reading the chat.
Then there's the knock rhyme.
Me too. Freaking Jonathan.
Yeah.
I'm ordering Chinese food. Anyone want anything?
Who's ordering Chinese?
Yeah, John, get 5 orders.
I know. I'm hungry now.
Take the General Sauce
I'll
chicken.
be right there.
Yeah.
Man.
Then there's the Knockron Award, where that one has the poster, the 3 covers, the commission sketch card, the sticker, and the PDF sketchbook. Then there's the Viejo Award, which is $100, and that gets all 3 covers, the T-shirt, the sticker, the sketch card, the printed sketchbook, and the poster. Then there's the Overseer Award, which gets everything plus a commissioned sketch cover that I illustrate. So here's a sample of the pages lettered by George. Just that's the opening scene. That's the first page you'll see in the book. I think it was a very powerful scene. Yeah, I loved it. I loved the king and the son addressing his king, his father, and so these are some of the pages, the previews.
That's all of Anibal's work right there, guys.
This is all.
That's
Yeah,
incredible.
this is his best
Incredible.
work.
Come on,
Chris,
man.
I can't believe how good you were.
What happened?
Like
¿Qué pasó?
the anatomy is like really good, like on those women that are, like
Yeah.
on the steps and all that.
I gotta say,
Reference there?
Anibal drew some good women, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you
yes, he did.
reference?
In fact, yes. In fact, you'll see at the bottom. So there's that page. And, look at Desiree. I mean, look.
Yeah.
That's when so you see her from the back on this panel right here. You only see her thigh, and then she enters, and look how beautiful she is.
Yeah.
And
It holds up.
Anibal,
Yes.
that was a good question that
Really
Christian had.
good.
Did you reference this stuff or no?
You didn't reference.
I can't remember the picture there where he's like in the cuffs. I definitely referenced that. Most of the stuff was off my head, but there are certain scenes, pretty much anything involving hands, I definitely referenced. And yeah, as far as I can recall, that definitely was on that page. That's definitely referenced.
Yeah, hair.
Yeah,
He took
it
shots of
shows.
my hair.
That was for something different. That was for something else. It wasn't for the comic at all.
So there's the map of the world that they came from centuries ago.
Hey Sam, I got a quick question for you. Are you planning to? I don't know if you already said this, but I might have missed. Are you planning to recolor everything from like the issues I had too, or?
Yes. So So if we raised the money, we wanted to have a consistency all the way through.
Oh, nice.
And there's a pinup. That's the poster that's coming. That's the one I did of Jakku and his cat.
That's cool.
His
Yeah.
cat.
His kitty.
Yes. That's the sticker of Desiree and Jakku that Anibal did that illustration.
It's nice.
You made that into like a large
Yeah.
life-size banner.
Yes, you'll see
there.
that. You'll see that in
see
a
it.
second.
It's coming.
You'll see
It's
that in a
coming.
second.
It's coming.
I remember because I had to carry it to a convention one time.
So when I met Anibal, these were the character designs I gave him. to start drawing them. So those are my original concept designs back in the days.
Bro, I still have the thick binder thing with all the
scripts
explanations.
and everything.
Damn.
Yeah, it's like this thick, bro. I still have that whole thing, man. Yeah, one day
Yeah.
hopefully it'll be money.
Yeah. This is the sketchbook, and that's Anibal's pencils right there.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
So that's
Hey,
the cover. That's the cover to
Sam,
the sketchbook.
Jonathan's got a question in the question thing.
Okay. Hold on. I have a question. When is Jakku going to spear?
Well, I think he meant speak.
That spear would have made sense too, though. I don't know.
That is true. Maybe that's what he meant. I don't even know anymore. Maybe
I
that's what he
don't
meant.
Oh, Johnny boy! I told you that you don't see Jakku until issue 3, and he has a real critical role from that point on. So you haven't seen it. No one has but George. So
Johnny, he does speak. I lettered
Yeah.
his speech, so he does.
he
speak.
says more than 3 words.
And he whips out the spear afterwards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
spear, yeah.
So that's the sketch cover. It'll be numbered based on the order that people purchased the sketch cover, illustrated 1 through 100. That is the graphic T-shirt that's going to be available. And there's the squad back in the days.
Look at these young bucks. Who are these
And the
kids?
boy band. Look at that. Oh my
Who are
God.
these kids? Is that in sync? What is that?
Wow.
So that was us getting ready for the New York Comic Con. Everybody crashed at my crib, and that was a big stand-up cutout, poster board stand-up of Jakku, Desiree, Gorf, Princess Reina, Russ. What's the kid's name from Street Journal? Tyreek, and Duty from Disneyland in My Toilet. So all the characters that and all the books that we're introducing at the Comic Con.
Wow.
Like that.
We were youngins.
Yeah, that's a nice blast from the past.
You
man.
still have all those stand-ups, Sam?
That one I don't, because when my basement got flooded, it was caught in the flood. And so then there's that. So then if we get to stretch goals, then I'll add 4 additional pages to that 16-page story on the first stretch goal, which was George's recommend. That was Georgie's idea. And so you'll get a sneak peek into the follow-up issue.
More unequal artwork.
Stretch goal number 2, you get the Desiree bookmark. There's the front and back of the bookmark with her bio. Stretch goal number 3, you'll get these 8.5 by 11 cardstock of the print that I did of Lord Vox. Sketch number 5, that will be an 11 by 17 print added to that next stretch goal. The 3,000 stretch goal will be the Arius trading card, and that Anibal did that piece right there. And
wow.
you don't remember that?
I do. That's
Yeah.
actually the very first thing that printed, I think. One of the first or the second that I saw in print.
Yeah, so I tried to make the goals as appealing as possible, and try to get to as many people as possible, from the retailers to the internationals to the Spanish speaking. So what do you feedback? What do you guys think?
I like it. It looks like a lot of work just setting that up.
Yeah. I was going to say the same thing. I don't know. I'm always impressed with what you guys do. That's why I've always, followed you, had you on my show and stuff. I love watching what you guys do. I'm a big supporter of you guys, and I love, I'm ready to donate tomorrow when it goes on.
Oh, yeah.
It's something I want in my hands. I don't think I own any art of Annibal's work. Ever, so it's something that I know I'm going to need at some point. It's beautiful stuff.
It's his best work, Michael.
That's what I'm saying.
His best work.
Doesn't
He
get
fell off from that point on.
It's all downhill from there, bro.
Yeah.
Well, if you notice his stuff on
it's too
Facebook,
bad,
who's liking all this stuff, right? I mean, it's no one's liking his work, right? I mean, it's he's great. I love his work, and I just and I love seeing what he's always doing. I think the new guy you got, it really balances out the older work that I've seen, and I think it's just going to be a great. It's when it comes together as one piece, it's going to be a great like flow between it that you won't even really notice there's a different artist on it, and I think that's fantastic. Like I'm going to feel reading it. I'm always going to feel there's a different. There's one artist going to feel like that, and I like that in books. I mean, I like seeing different artists too, but I like having the feel of one. And and I'm sorry, I'm going to stop talking in a second because I know I do it a lot. But not as much as Sam. I already know that. But,
oh, snaps!
Everybody's getting roasted today. I love it.
but yeah, no, but I'm just a huge fantasy fan, and there's not many great fantasy books out there that I get to read. So I'm excited for it. That's all I was going to say. Sorry.
No, you know what I think is also good is the fact that even though there are going to be two different artists, the fact that it's going to be colored by one colorist, I think also help in the transition between one to the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for this future Scopos now. I'm excited for this. Number one, I'm hoping that also that it brings. When we came back into podcasting, not too many people knew that we created comics, at least, or anything, or any of our portfolios. So this is a great way to introduce stuff that we've done, and then hopefully bring in an audience. We didn't have all these avenues that for back then. So, our way of getting it is, whether on the forums like digital webbing or at the cons, and so now. I'm hoping that we're able to connect with as many people as possible and introduce, a different style because, we're not a one trick pony here. And so I'm excited for this. I love the characters. I can't wait to see what happens. I was telling George, I was so nervous about today. I felt like I was a father having a baby. I was like, I said, why do I? Oh, my nerves acting up, and because it's something that I've worked on for 20 years, and so I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah.
Take your med.
I have a technical question.
Uh-oh.
All right, now as the worst Hispanic ever. I know that certain words translated from English to Spanish are different. How close to the actual translations did you do for the Spanish version?
I'll let George answer that because he took the helm on that.
Yeah, no, I haven't even read the books in Spanish since we translated originally. But what did at the time when we were translating it was, I mean, I speak fluent Spanish, but also my Spanish is different than, say, for example, Spaniard Spanish, right? And like that's the motherland. So I used a lot of like when I say Spanish, I mean from like Spaniard Spanish versus like, say, for example, I'm from Ecuador, Aniba, for example, is from Puerto Rico, so is Sam. So like some of that slang, there is no slang in the book. I guess what I'm trying to say. It's a lot of proper Spanish spoken in the book. So a lot of the translations come from that.
And when you're doing it, sometimes the words are longer or shorter. When you're placing it in the pages, is that also a challenging thing to do to keep it consistent?
It was a challenge. Yeah, it was. That was a challenge. Definitely had to like, okay, how is this going to fit? Because now the balloon's got him right. It's covering her face now because there's just too many words on it. So a lot of that had to be controlled. And I did that, by whether it was just not changing, but like altering, I guess it's the same thing, but like just kind of moving things around a little bit is the way it was done. But yeah, it worked out.
Yeah. So I let George because Mark, I'm in the same boat. True story. My Spanish is so damn messed up. It sounds like I come from some sort of primitive village somewhere. So I was on the train once back in the days. I'm embarrassed to say it. And there was this couple, they were looking for directions and no one spoke Spanish. And they looked at me and I'm like, oh, damn. And so I'm trying and it's so destructive what I'm saying that I'm sweating. And this Asian man comes over, puts his hand on my shoulder. He says, "Don't hurt yourself," and he says, "I'll take over." And he sounded like Julio Iglesias. He was just flowing, and I was like, and all I kept saying was, "Please open, please open, please." As soon as the doors open, I didn't care what step it was. I got off. I was like, "This is horrible, horrible."
No, Daphne just made a comment, and it's true. It's totally true. It's speaking and translations are two different things, and that's absolutely 100% true. Because what you think you know in Spanish, you try to translate, just it's totally different. So yeah, very, very true.
Yes. I mean, I've heard Spaniards. They say a word. I'm like, I don't know what that is. I'm trying to I can understand it, but when it comes out, I'm a babbling baboon. It's just horrible. I'm like, I don't know why I can't put it into words, but I can understand it and I can break it. And I'm like, all right, cool. I just don't know.
Sam, you should do what I do. Whenever anybody tries to speak Spanish to me, you just say no Nintendo.
Nintendo. There's no Nintendo.
Say no Nintendo. That's how bad your Spanish is. They'll understand it.
Another true story that really hurt me for the rest of my life. In high school, I had a teacher, Spanish teacher, Miss Tartaglia, and she failed me. And she said, "You're a disgrace to your race, and you're gonna take me again until you pass." And I was like, "Damn!" Yeah,
Miss Tartaglia.
I passed it a second time, but I had to take over. It was horrible.
You're a disgrace to the race.
Miss Tartaglia, you bruised me for life.
Tartaglia doesn't even sound Spanish; it sounds Italian.
Yeah, I know.
No, don't feel bad because I can't speak a word of Italian, and my mom's from Sicily. She speaks it fluently. Basically my entire family does. I'm like the only one who doesn't. So
damn. Oh man. Oh,
yeah.
These views.
What?
No.
Yeah.
You better recognize, boy. I don't understand what you say. Yo, she better recognize. John scares me sometimes.
That's Tourette, bro. He's just
yeah, it's like sing up.
So Sam, what time tomorrow should we be expecting this thing to launch?
I'm gonna go live at midnight.
Oh.
I'm gonna hit the live button at midnight and go to sleep, and then I'm gonna be afraid. I'm gonna let you tell me first, George. I'm like, how we doing, George? So should I look?
I'll be like, Sam, everybody was sleeping. That's what it was.
Everybody's sleeping.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for like the people in other countries. They'll be awake. The time difference.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Oh,
I swear.
You mentioned that digital webbing. I used to go on that for jobs years ago. Is it still pretty active?
I don't know. I haven't used it in years, but that's why I used to partner with artists. I found Big Cat Studios through digital webbing, which did the coloring for a couple of my books, and they did the illustrations for George's books.
Yeah,
they actually did. No, they illustrated Scary Airy, my children's book, for me, and they colored some other stuff.
Yeah, that was big. That was big back then, digital webbing. I remember that.
Yeah, I remember it used to be very competitive. So it's like they would screen the posts, and they would post like all in one day. So I'd have to keep a lookout, and then within like hours, it seemed like there'd be 500 to 1,000 views. So if I missed that window, I wasn't gonna get anybody to look at my portfolio. It's like usually if because it's like people get exhausted.
Yeah.
Looking at stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I used to be on forums all the time. It was crazy back then. I was a member like on 25 forums.
Yeah.
It was like typing like a madman. Like I'm not a madman now. I don't leave this damn room for nothing. I'm a prisoner to the craze. But yeah, those were good days. Any other questions?
Beginning, middle, and end of the story. Full story when you get to the finished last issue?
All your questions that start out in the first issue will be answered by the 6th issue.
There you go.
Yes. The twist is it can stand alone or it can continue based on your perspective when you get to that last issue. So I left it at that just in the event that it gets momentum and there is a following for it, and I'll let the audience tell me whether or not to continue with the next volume or leave it as this. I'll know by the 3rd issue.
I have another question. Sam, since you're an artist, I'm wondering how you wrote the script. If it was traditional, like for example, I was actually just on another workshop earlier, and it was like a memoir graphic novelist, and she didn't write scripts traditionally. She just made a lot of notes and thumbnails, and she would write by hand, basically. So I'm like curious if you wrote out the script, uh, formatted it like that way, like a
Yeah.
script writer, or
Yes.
if you thumbnail.
Anibal could tell you because when I met Anibal, we met Anibal at a small little Star Wars convention, which was horrible for us. But the only good things that came out of it was we met Anibal and we were on a documentary called Ink Spit.
That
Yes,
banana doing the interview.
yes,
We
and
digresses-
so initially it was Anibal was going to work with Jonathan on Street Journal,
Feature.
and things weren't working out, and I already had Forbidden script already done. I had the history, the Bible, the character profiles, and everything. And so I said, "Yeah, Anibal, you wanted to start this project?" And when he grabbed when I gave him the binder with the scripts and everything, he was like, "Holy!" So it was written the way a traditional script is written. Had page 1, 4 panels. Panel 1. This is what description of the panel, then dialogue or caption where it's placed. Panel 2, panel 3, whatever. So I basically made it easy for the artist to take away and conceptualize it. My style was, he's the artist, even though I'm an artist, and I think that's why we worked well together. He's the artist, so I'm gonna let him play. So I wasn't standing over his shoulders. I wasn't looking to say what's he doing. I just let him be him. And because I think the people pull out their best work when you just give them the arena and let them just play. And when he was producing the pages, I mean, I don't think I criticized anything other than like, wow. I think that was it, right?
We definitely gelled really well on that level. I remember actually thumbing issue 1 or issue 0, whatever it was, while I was in Iraq during downtime. I'm in the tent, like in 110-degree weather, just trying to forget about my environment in that little space doing the thumbnails. And there was only one instance where I think I read it wrong or I misinterpreted something, and you broke it down. You were like, it was supposed to be this, and it was kind of a crucial moment. I forget. I know the page. I can't remember how to describe it at the moment. But that was the only thing. And I was like, you know what? No problem. I can draw that over. I was so enthusiastic about the project that any chance to draw anything for it, I'm like, it's not going to go to waste. He'll probably use that for like behind the scenes anyway. So it's like, you know what I mean? It was a good team up. Definitely a good team up.
Yeah.
Well, this
And it was
answers a
fun.
lot, Hannibal. So it's like, this answers a lot about the quality. So basically you're saying that the way to get great quality from you is to deploy you.
Put it in 110-degree weather somewhere.
Have me face death every day by like bombs all around me, and then that way I'll be really focused on just the comic book.
Yeah, well, actually, that's how J.D. Salinger wrote Catcher in the Rye.
Wow.
So
that's interesting.
There you go.
So Johnny Boy has a question. He says, "What spawned the idea for Jakku?"
Good question.
Jakku came at a time where I needed, and I don't want to give too much away, I needed a link to the surface. And so that's why he came along. And I needed a link to the surface from a character that was of the same mind state, but also powerful enough to be a great ally. So that's where Jakku came from. That's all I can say. I don't want to give too much away. Johnny, stop asking questions. Jakku is a really, he plays
So
a
this
really
was
pivotal role.
2005, you said?
When we released it, I wrote it in 2000.
Yeah, because interesting, because I was like thinking of what your influences might have been, and then so I quickly Googled when 300 came out, and it was like 2007. So it wasn't that, because it's got something like that. Somebody might guess, but what was it like? Anything kind of set you off on it?
No, I think it started with just when I created Sin. So a lot of my influences growing up. I mean, I was influenced by a lot of fantasy stuff. I mean, from Legend to Conan to Lord of the Rings. I mean, so for me, it's like there's a lot of different influences. When you read Forbidden, it's hard to pick up on. You're not going to be able to say, "Well, that came from that." No, it really started with just the character Sin, and I didn't know it was going to create that backstory until I asked the question, "Why is his name Sin? What did he do to get that name?" And then when I started working backwards from the name, that's when it started coming to me, and I was like, "Oh, so you have the traditional things that you know of. You have that resistance to authority. You have the male chauvinistic stuff where it's a male dominated world and the women are not allowed to lead, but the women play powerful roles. And you have deception, you have treachery. There's a lot of things that happen in it. You don't know who to trust. You don't know who to root for. It's I one of the things that happens when I write is I become the characters. And when we were doing the crazies, I become the characters when I'm creating their voices, and so I get into their mind state at the time, and I pretend the dialogue that I'm having with the other character. What would my response be based on my personality? And that's how I develop them. I can watch a movie and all of a sudden I'm in the damn movie. And I'm jumping with the person in the movie. I'm running with I'm like, don't go in there. It's like you go, oh no, that's coming. Don't do it. And so it's one of those things where you just feel like you're the character. It's like you channel them. So for me, when I created them, each one of those characters, I became them, and I looked at the setting through their eyes. If that's how I can explain it.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Andy Bell sucks. I'm a drug addict.
Christian is cool. I love it. I love this. Christian, what you got for me, man? I'm feeling left out.
I don't know. You're quiet, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay that way.
Maybe switch your hat. Let's see.
Yeah, no, look at that.
Right? He's in the closet.
Are we still doing the thing? Do you want to do a quick little raffle for some stuff, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, well, it's got to be able to come up with a question.
Come up with
What would
what?
that question be?
How long is the Indiegogo for? How many days?
30 days.
20? 30?
30. I'm doing it for a month. Playing it safe.
Really curious to read it now. Like, I still have to wait 30 days, even to download the PDF. Like,
30 days.
30 days.
Is it like fake 30 days? So that way it ends on March 25th, like real 30 days.
It's real 30 days.
Wait, no, Christian. That's a question for you. Did you pledge to the Crazies, the second issue?
Yeah.
So you're gonna. Just so you know, you will be getting issue 0 as a PDF.
Oh, in that one?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
cool.
know that.
Yeah.
Well, don't tell them that.
It's a stretch goal. No, but it is a stretch goal. I'm just saying that, you know what I mean?
But you're gonna get it without the other stuff that's in the book.
Right.
That's in.
Yeah, no, I'm going to
Indiegogo.
contribute anyway.
Yeah.
But
You're just gonna get the 16 pages, nothing else in the PDF from
did those send out?
No,
Not yet.
they're gonna be sent out this weekend. The PDFs.
Yeah.
But I might hold
I'm
off on you because
Oh, I gotta hook you out, Christian. Damn.
There we go.
You called him a cokehead. You said he was a cokehead.
Yes, I gotta go get treated now. And it was like,
I asked for it.
I'm having relapse.
Sam didn't even know. He was just gonna send that. Damn.
Like I'm itching. I feel like Pookie from New Jack City.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, you crazy. So
anyway, what was you saying? A question?
So you
said come up with a. You said come up with a question.
I'll just throw names in the hat, and I guess this one we're going to be raffling off the bookmark.
Yeah, I got the names in the hat right now.
Okie dokie. So let me
All
get
right,
the. Oh.
Let me pull one in.
Close your eyes, man.
All right. I got it right here. No trickery.
No trickery. What's up?
Okay, this one goes to Pops Van Zant. Is he still in the room? Pops
right.
Van Zant. He's
Pops
still
fans,
in.
that you still in the room?
If you're still in the room, you get it. Otherwise, we go to the next one.
Papa Docs, are you still there?
Well,
see.
just like message him after. He should still get it.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
yeah. There you go. So there it is. That gets it.
Yeah.
All right,
Papa
cool.
Van Zant, yes. So you'll be getting it at the end of the campaign.
Take that one.
Awesome. But yeah. So when I was creating the reward levels, I was, we were taking the lessons we learned from the Kickstarter, because we feel like we didn't really maximize on some of the reward levels, that we could have done better with a lot of more flexible rewards. So here we did, and then what I like about Indiegogo, I like that we had add-ons. So at checkout, you can say, I didn't want this, but I want that, and you can add that to your basket, which is pretty cool. All these new features that it took me time to took me the entire 30 days making that putting it all together. In fact, I was working on it. I finished it all this morning.
Wow.
Yeah, but so I think it's fun. I think I'm hoping that you guys really like it, and I'm can't wait to get feedback from everybody as well.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I
What I'm
actually-
looking for?
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Christian. Go ahead. No, good.
Well, I'm like in this big fantasy kick again because I just last weekend went again to the Frank Frazetta Museum.
Oh, love it there. Love
Yeah.
it there.
You guys got to go. You got to support him. I got.
We
another
did.
book,
We went as a group, and
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Anibal marked his territory when he was there.
Okay. Yeah. So
yeah.
I'm on like another kick.
Yes, we had fun there. We got to talk to his wife.
Yeah.
She told us everything, all the stories about where she hid the marijuana and all this crazy stuff. It was just, it was amazing stuff. And
yeah, she was awesome.
yeah, the artwork was it was just a great trip. It was a great road trip. We had fun. We got a flat over there. We had to hike it.
Yeah.
It was.
Wait, Christian, when did you go? You said last week.
Yeah, last weekend.
How's the like with COVID thing? How are they doing? Like, does it
You
get?
just wear masks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was actually we were the first ones there. It was my friend and I, and then right away more people came. So it was like I want to say, all in all, while we were there for like an hour and a half, there was maybe 8 people at the most, including us. So it was like good activity. I was happy that they were getting traffic.
Yeah. That's in PA, right? It's in Pennsylvania, right? It hasn't moved. Like they haven't moved.
Yeah.
It's like an hour and a half.
Yeah,
it's in the woods.
East Stroudsburg, I think, right?
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. I was there 2 or 3 years ago. I love it. It was beautiful. I've one of the prints over there hanging up on my closet door.
Nice.
Yeah.
I
Got
went over
another
the
one I
summer.
want to put up. You did?
Yeah, I was there
Yeah.
over the summer. His Frazetta Jr. is an interesting guy.
All
Yeah,
right.
I don't know
met
if any of you met him. Was he there?
I met his wife and his son.
Yeah.
So that's who I met when I was there.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, big shout out to Tone from across the hall. Welcome in, man. How you doing?
What's up, Tone?
Yo.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So it's I think Anibal, who's your favorite character?
It's between Jakku and Sin.
What about why?
What's that?
Why?
I enjoy drawing them. I like the design. Yeah, I kind of fell in love with the design and the look of the characters.
What about you, George?
By yourself. Or go ahead.
I'm a George. Chilling at the
go ahead.
Seabass. Go ahead, George.
What's up, Sebastian? I think my favorite character is Sin, actually. I like Sin's story. I like the whole father and son dynamic with Sin. I think that makes me kind of like the fact that he was just like, no, Dad, I'm going to show you, what's out there, kind of thing. Like that dynamic. I really like the character, the design of the character as well. You never got to draw him with the mask on, Anibal. He looks pretty cool with that, with the mask on. So yeah, no, I like Sin.
I have
Anibal
behind
did
the-
it in the cover.
Yeah.
Oh, did you?
I have behind stuff like
Yeah.
Oh, the
design work,
behind the
yeah,
scenes stuff.
it's I never saw it published. I don't think it made it to publishing, but yeah.
Yeah,
So
he has. Where's that cover? I'm gonna pull it up. Hold on. Where is it?
I think I know
So
the one you're
to
talking about.
Yeah. So for Tone and Sebastian who just came in, if you guys have any questions about the story or anything about the Indiegogo, ask away. We've answered a bunch of them, but it doesn't hurt to just
Oh yeah,
you got
there
questions,
it
ask them
is.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Oh
the
yeah,
cover. So he has. You see, he has the mask on
I
here.
forgot about.
He
Yeah,
does.
Yeah, right here.
yeah, right
Oh,
at the bottom right.
right here.
Mm, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
yeah. It's that. I I colored that piece. I just remembered that. I was saying, wait, who did that coloring? But yeah. So that mine is Deseret and Jakku. I have two of them, Deseret and Jakku. Those are my two favorite. Although I started with Sin, Deseret and Jakku were my two favorite because she's just such a level-headed, fearless strategist, and you don't see her coming, and I think that's the great part of it.
Yeah.
What is this?
Sebastian, it goes live tomorrow, sir. So you can share away.
Yes, share away goes live midnight.
midnight.
I'm hitting the button, and let's see.
It's already midnight somewhere.
It's midnight somewhere.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting Marcus in there. I just
I know. I'm telling you, Marcus like that
and
computer.
the voice just comes out of nowhere.
Game?
It's like the voice somewhere. It's like God.
Yeah, it's like the shadow.
Yeah.
So, Sam, do you think that because of the pandemic, it gave you the time and the ability to actually make this a reality? Or if we were still going normally and doing conventions all the time, would you still have done the Kickstarter and the Indiegogo?
It's the pandemic and getting fired.
Yeah, I think.
So, it was done before the pandemic. So, as far as it wasn't lettered, it didn't start getting lettered till last year. So it wasn't lettered, but it was completely done. Now, the strategy wasn't developed on what I was going to do with the finished product until 2020.
Okay.
But in 2020, what the pandemic did for me, number one, it made me unemployed. But it made me a brokepreneur. But it also made me a beast behind the scenes because I've been doing nothing but creating content at a pace that I'm surprised at because I'm not a spring chicken, but I'm an animal when I'm in my grind. And so for me, it's like between Cast the Craze, between the Crazies, between Forbidden, the all the other stuff that we do. It's been a blessing to try to see what I walked away from and if I can regain traction.
Thanks, Jonathan. I don't know. I'm just replying there.
Oh, is that one for Christian? Yeah. So it for me, it's just like I get to try to answer the question: what would have happened if I finished it? What would have happened if because I walked away when it was getting traction. I walked away from everything when it was getting traction, and so now I get to, all else fails, at least answer that question. I'll die on my own sword and see what happens here.
Yeah, you're really lucky that you've been building all this content, so it's perfect timing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're doing everything methodically. It's like because we have things in the pipeline, but everything is staged at a first different pace. What happens with Forbidden will determine what I do with the next product, which is complete, which is There's Nailing on My Toilet, which I introduced back then, and that more than 1,000 people have copies of that because it did really well. So I won't go on to another project until I finish something. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
for me, it's the Crazies has built momentum. You know, we're working on issue 4 now. You know, issue 3 is done, which is great. And while we're doing that, Forbidden's done. All I'm doing now is trying to build an audience and try to get some the word out there and hopefully give it life.
And get it colored. So Anibal Duty, he's coming back. Anibal, you ready? You ready for that? You ready for that?
Yeah, that was
The
the
Dude
destruction of
Meister.
Forbidden. Yeah, that was
Yeah, that's
Johnny
what
about
I,
hated
gotta,
it
Forbidden.
in.
I gotta seriously, I gotta say, I appreciate the fact that Forbidden is finally being properly, done, properly brought to a brought to an end. I just believe that the story deserved,
Yeah.
to go out on a high note. And from what I see, it's definitely getting that push. And I also think it couldn't have come at a better time. It seems like maybe it's just me. I'm noticing this fantasy and this type of these type of stories are kind of like a thing now. Game of Thrones and that
Mhm.
kind of it's always a thing for me. I'm a huge fan of it, but it seems like it's at like the top right now. You know what I mean? So the
Yeah.
timing on that is like it's dead on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, George.
No, I was going to comment on what Sebastian said. We're all taking over in 2021, and I think that there's a truth to that, because I think that now is a time when a lot of us little guys are producing more stuff, and like to Mark's point, the pandemic, like it's just kept us inside and kept us just creating and working and getting our stuff out there. I think.
Yeah, and not trying to, back then I was working on a lot of things. I'm working on a lot of things, but they're very specific. So like what keeps me busy, it's Catch the Craze takes up a lot of my time. Between, the editing of the videos, the connecting, because we're booking May right now. We have all these recordings in the pipeline, and we interview 4 guests a week. And so that takes up a lot of my time, just editing it and getting it ready and getting it into the system. Outside of that, I'll be taking over the illustration for Catch the Crazies. And after issue 4, so issue 5, Catch the Crazies, I'm on it. So I have to prepare for that. So that's why I've been putting out a lot of promotional material on Catch the Crazies, because I was just honing in my style for that series. Because I don't have to worry about Forbidden because it's done. You know what I mean? So it's gonna feel good to work on a serial project, and see what happens. What else? What did you think about the reward levels?
I like them. I couldn't see them all.
Yeah.
I can
Which
show it
one
again.
was like where you start getting the printed?
Oh, that one starts, I think,
15, I believe.
yeah,
Oh yeah,
15. Yes.
I
Yeah.
think it was
I would
start
definitely
out,
like a
make
printed.
it check all the way at the last one.
Yes, because the first one's the PDF. The $5 one's just the PDF. Then there's the $10 international one, and that's just for anybody outside of the U.S. If they want, they'll get the two PDFs and a print PDF, digital copy. Then there's the Spanish speaking crowd. They'll get that, but it can be printed. Um, then it starts at 15 when you get the copy and you get the poster, and then it goes from there. Then you go to, and that's their standard cover, and then the hollow foil cover starts at 25. The gold cover it starts at 50, and then you'll see each level adds a different perk to it, and you get more and more as you go up. This is for the retailers, so if they get 10 or more, they'll get copies. They'll get for every 10 copies of retailer orders, they'll get a sketch card from me. There's a knock-round reward. Now, then you got the stickers, you got the posters, you got all 3 covers. The Viejo Award, where now you get the graphic T-shirt on top of everything else. And then the final one, which is the Overseer Award, where you get the other addition to it is the commission sketch cover that I do. So I try to give something for everybody, and then there's perks. There's add-ons that you can do. So if you just wanted one thing, but you wanted a sketch card, you can get you can order a commission sketch card separately. in the perk section, and then the stretch goals. So
Do the comics come signed?
yes,
Yeah.
You got to pay $1 extra for that.
no, they come signed. They come signed.
That's where they get you.
Anibal, will you sign one? Not for Christian.
Maybe
It's like
more than
not for
$1.
Christian.
More than $1.
More
Look
than
at
the
this.
dollar off. I don't know.
Hey, did you mention if you're doing it as a collected what do you call it, as a
Trade?
Paperback.
as a trade? Yeah.
Yeah, the goal is to. So I'll show you guys. I'm gonna change the screen for a second. I'm gonna go look through my files so I can show you guys. Where's my screen? That's the screen. I'm gonna take this off for a second. I'm gonna show you the trade cover. The trade cover is already done. Let me find it for a second.
Who do you guys print with? Who are you printing the saddle stitched with?
The ones the crazies were printed through Mix'em.
Mix them.
Yeah, I think that's the name of the printer. I usually print my stuff through Kablam, but they take forever, man. Like Kablam, you got to print that stuff like months in advance, dude. I'm like, but but this one, I think it was called, I think it was called Mixin, and they're fast, man. They're fast, and they do really good work.
I've used like I've never heard of Mixin. That's Mixen.
Mixam. Let me just check their website. Hold on a second. Yep. Smart Press. Yeah, it's mixam.com. Mixem.
Okay, I'll look them up.
Yeah.
All right.
Because I've used the Wellspring Greco printing.
Yes, we've used them too.
They're reliable, and
they are.
Many years ago, I was actually negotiating with both them and Kablam, and Kablam was like, a week later, I'd get a reply. And
Yeah.
I like their quality.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Their quality was good.
Yeah.
Same. That I don't know. They dropped the ball somewhere.
Yeah.
So this is the
Really good.
the collected cover.
Wow.
This is
Oh,
done
wow.
by an artist named Ifata, and so that's the evil and the good sides forbidden. This guy
I
did a
can't tell
fantastic
which is the
job.
good and which is the evil.
So that's going to be for the collected edition.
So those are two different covers.
no, it's going to be a wraparound cover. Yes, it's going to be a wrap cover. And I mean, we went back and forth. He took everything and he just gave it life, and he did a great job.
Wait, how does it wrap around where it looks like two covers?
You're gonna have a spine. There's gonna be a spine.
So the one on the right is the front, and then the
Yes.
one in the stuff on the left is the back part of the book. So
Yeah.
it'll
Oh,
he's got to
so
put a
usually
spine
the
in
back
between it.
has like a description or something.
Yeah,
No, I
I think
haven't
you have
done-
something at
there's
the bottom.
No, that's this is just two different images.
No, he's saying there's a logo on the back one, so it makes it look like that's a separate cover.
Oh yeah, right now because it's for promotional pieces. This is just
I see.
promo pieces. But that's gonna be the art. That's the actual finished art
Yeah, that's
For
great.
for the covers because I want it to really pop on the bookshelves when you see it.
Oh yeah, good
you know.
investment.
How come the bad guys don't have any hot naked chicks?
Oh, Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Well, you're just showing a lot of skin on the good guy side, but the bad guys, we don't that one bad. We don't get no women.
Well, that's
that
why
why they're
they're
upset?
they're like sexually repressed and angry. That's probably why.
Why they're evil? Yeah.
What's up, Sebastian? Thank you, Sebastian. Yes, I mean this was one at the time when I was a civilized man and I had a job, so I was able to get all that stuff done. Thank goodness. And I actually had that done in 2018.
Wow.
That piece. So it's been sitting. You guys are seeing it for the first time. It's been sitting in my computer for all that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are great.
Which is even more reason what I was telling Sam, which is even more reason to have the whole thing colored. Because imagine you have that printed cover, right, and then you open it up, and it's like I don't know. To me, I just feel like a colored book just kind of fits inside that cover. I don't know, for me.
Yeah, and to have the consistency. So that's why the Indiegogo to be able to get it all. Jonathan and his Jakku.
Jakku, he does Jakku.
Yes, Jakku is married. Jonathan, stop acting up.
Shaku,
So-
the lady.
All right,
I know.
serious question.
Uh-huh.
You mentioned that in one of the rewards that you can do the Spanish version. Can you do Spanish versions for every other item? Like, will the T-shirts be also printed in will it have the image in Spanish as well, or is it just the book?
Just the book for now. I played it safe because I didn't want to try to assume that's what's going to happen. Um, um, that can be if we get into the stretch goal arena, or it could be a perk, an add-on. If I get enough of a demand for it, I can add another add-on at the checkout where they can get it that way. But there has to be a demand for it in order to get that done. I don't want to assume that I don't want to just.
Well, I
Go
figured
out
if
there.
you already opened the door, you should at least have an option like, oh, if you want to have the T-shirt with
Well, the cover's
triangle
already with the
Spanish.
the cover has the book has the Spanish logo.
Right.
It's a good idea. It's a good idea, but let's see what we do with this issue. And I'll adjust based on what I learned from this experience.
Mark is ready for a prohibido T-shirt. I think that's what he's saying, right, Mark? You want one?
That'd be my only thing I ever own in Spanish. Like, what's that about? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe
listen.
I'll just Well, I'm gonna need to drop it in as an add-on. I could drop it in.
Yeah, no, that's cool, man.
Yeah. What, Jonathan? What, me too?
He wants one in Spanish too. That's funny.
Yes.
Well, listen. So Sammy, so you're dropping this tomorrow. Well, tomorrow at midnight, which is today after 11:59 p.m.
Yes.
And that's it. Tomorrow morning, I'll let you know how you're doing.
Yeah, I'm a sucker that way. Yeah, it's one of those things like I'll go into a dark alley, I'll go into the toughest neighborhoods, but with this, I'm like, oh, George, can you take a look?
This is what's gonna happen. At 12:01, he's gonna launch it, and at 12:02, he's gonna open the door for the money where the chute comes in, and he's just gonna stand there and wait for it to just start coming in.
All right, I got a question for you guys. For both, well, since you're doing this on Indiegogo and you guys have run a Kickstarter, I've never personally run a Kickstarter Indiegogo yet. Plan to. How much sleep did you guys lose on this?
Oh,
Like,
dude,
are you guys like Sam? You're gonna go click at midnight, put it on. You said you're going somewhere, maybe to sleep. Are you really gonna be able to sleep when this happens?
So the Kickstarter really aged me because I got at least 20 more grays in this beard. This all came from this damn Kickstarter. And so I've been working so many hours in my studio where I just go next door. I'm in the living room. So what happens is I've been sleeping in the living room because I've been walking out at 2, 3 in the morning, and I crashed, and I don't want to disturb my wife, and I just crash on the couch, and I get up at 7, 8. I go work out, and I come right back into the room, and I don't leave. Sometimes I forget to eat. So, but with Kickstarter, it takes on a life of its own. And then I get pissed off because I'm like, there's not enough social platforms. I need more. It's like, how many people? I want to reach more people. And so it's like, while I'm trying to learn, because we're building an audience. We've been working really hard since the launch of Catch the Craze on trying to reintroduce ourselves into the industry. So many things have changed. We met so many of new friends, all you guys out there. It's like so. But we have to, I think, Kickstarter having 2 successful campaigns from a comic book that is very quirky, doesn't follow any trends. It's really about our story with a twist, and we were successful with that. That was scary enough, and now we're doing this, and I gave myself, I have a timeline. I have a timeline to try to get a publisher to pick the stuff up. And, before I have to start going back to work and figuring out how to, because the well's going to run dry. So this brokepreneur stuff's got to kick into high gear. So
I love that term.
Yeah. So, the whole idea is between now and my cutoff period is to try to build momentum, get enough attention where someone's going to want to say, I'm going to pick it up and I want to publish it for you. That's the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be an indie publisher. I just want to be a content creator. That's it.
Mhm.
You know.
And what
No,
kind
that
of
makes sense.
deal would you want? Because it's like if it's done, you're creating it on spec, and then they would just take and distribute, and
Similar
then
to like,
after cost of distribution, you would
yeah.
make a profit. So you wouldn't get an advance at that point.
Right, similar to what like an image deal, or where it's like they publish it, they get the they reap what they've invested, and then from that point on they take their percentage, but you get the bulk of it. And so I'm looking for something in that arena.
You know
Well-
you're waiting for that Disney money.
Well, send it to Image.
Yeah, but I'm waiting. We're almost done. It's almost 100% lettered. I'm gonna send the whole collected book out to the publishers. We'll see what happens. If you're watching out there, I'm coming for you. Knock knock. But we don't know. You don't know, and I think that's the goal is to keep trying to network. The social distancing, while it had its benefits, it does have a negative adverse effect because you don't get to meet the people in person. You don't get to network. You don't get to when you see somebody in person and you're talking to them and you're introducing your brand to them, you can sense whether or not they're engaged and they like it. And most people buy into the person and their energy. And it's hard when you're on a screen. It's hard when it's impersonal. I'm looking forward to the days that we can go back out there and mix up with the people out there and really broaden our reach, because we're limited, because there's so many of us that are doing the same things. From a digital standpoint, it's now you have the luxury to say no, delete, 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 without even trying to learn about it. Because everyone's looking at the clock and looking at the amount of information. When we looked at Kickstarter, we're like, look at all this talent. We're
Yeah.
going up against these guys. You know what I mean? So that's the
Indiegogo,
first-
Indiegogo,
Yeah.
the same thing, man.
Same thing. When I went to Indiegogo, I was looking at some of these cats, and I'm like, oh my gosh. But I feel strong. I feel very strong about the story of Forbidden. I feel very confident about the guys that worked on Forbidden. Um, and those I put those guys up against any fantasy illustrators. Those guys did a really good job. I think the whole package is what can stand on its own. I'm 100% really confident in this book, and I'm hoping that everybody else, when they read it, they feel the same way and they want to come back for more, because we learned in the Kickstarter Catch the Crazies, we didn't get some returns. After the first one, we want to have returns. That's the goal. So, it's how do how do we get people to fall in love with your product?
Well, maybe you didn't get returns, but I think you got a lot of new people on the second one somehow.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
How did you do that?
Hustle.
Yeah, a lot of
We're hustling,
posting, a lot
hustling.
of reaching out to people. Yeah, no, it was a lot of just harassing people to,
It was just like
just share,
yeah, the second one really surprised us. I remember the day that we made our goal was on the fourth day, and I called George up and said, "You see what I'm seeing? Am I hallucinating?"
Yeah,
I was
what are you talking about, dude?
I was like, "Wait, George, what happened here?" I was like, "Who's punking us?" Yeah, it was exciting that day because I swear to you, I rolled my eyes. I'm like, "What? Wait, it took us 30 days on the first one." So I think that was exciting. So we know that we're building momentum. You know. While I look at some of these campaigns out there where they have 300, 400, 700 backers, I cringe because I know the work that's involved after. And the first one we had like 64, I think it was, and the amount of work, the packing, the printing, the labels, all that stuff, that was very time consuming. So that was just for 64. So the people that have over 100, like Daphne had over 100, and more, that's a great problem to have. But I also know the work that's involved, and it's like, whoa. So that's what.
Sam, do you use like a fulfillment company? Because I saw another guy that ran a campaign, and he sent a really beautiful package, and there's a fulfillment. I forget what they're called, but I can get the info for you. And they have like kind of a cardboard thing that you could put things in. It's like you could even order, I think, a logo or like a sticker to put on. So it's like really a nice looking package. I don't know if you want.
Are you talking about the guy
Yeah.
that did The Wanderer?
Yeah,
Yes, I got the book too. I just did it on What's in the Box. Yes, that box was very nice. The way the label was nice. I thought it was pretty cool. I didn't know it was a
Sorry,
fulfillment.
not the Wanderer. No, Monitor.
Oh, okay, you better
Sorry.
call up your friends to help out. Yes, I know. I felt like Jerry Lewis telethon. It's,
But it might be a similar company that he used.
Yeah.
I forget what
yeah,
it's called now, but anyway, there's fulfillment. There's a couple of good fulfillment companies that you could work with if and I think they're pretty economical.
oh, if it falls within the budget, because I think when we created the goals, we did it based on what we would need to be able to do what we needed to do, and so every nickel went to the production of everything. So
Yeah.
we weren't fortunate like some of the other bigger cats. I believe Brew Baker, I believe, had 10,000 orders or something crazy like that. That's crazy. Yes, it is crazy.
Really, 10,000 orders. That's
Yeah.
good because sometimes I see these successful campaigns like 20, 30,000, and then I'm looking at contributors, and it's like it'll be like 300 contributors. So then, in my mind, I'm like, well, they sold 300 copies, you know. So I'm like, is this the future? Like
Yeah.
you just kind of you're tapping your own well, and then you sell to like a much smaller scale. Like print is a luxury now. It's like it's a fine product now. Books.
Yeah, well, I still prefer having a physical copy in my hands. It's just me. When I backed, I think like 5 on Kickstarter and 4 on Indiegogo, and because I love I go for the art first. I look at the art style, and because you don't really know the story until you read the plot, but I just prefer to have it. I don't. It's not there now, but when the guy who did The Wanderer. His style was more like World of Quest by Jason Cruz, which was a cartoon series at one point. But I just like that style of art, and I actually enjoyed the book, which is why I did it once in the box. In fact, I got another Daphne's I backed on Kickstarter came in the mail today, so this will end up on what's in the box as well. But any other questions out there?
You did say that you were gonna decide on the course of the book by issue 3,
Yes.
but at the same time, you said that the story is already beginning, middle, and end.
Yes.
How do you manage to toe the line of keeping a story and then adapting it for what you see is going to happen?
You'll see on issue 6 why. Issue 6 ends that chapter of the story and it can stand alone there. But it leaves you with questions as to what happened to some of the characters from that point on. So that's why for me, it'll be based on the feedback that I get from the people. So if people say, by issue 3, if it takes off and by issue 3 I see there's a demand for it, then I will begin the process with a second volume. If it doesn't, and if it's just doing moderately and I didn't get a publisher, I won't. So it all depends on what happens.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Well,
Huh?
you guys, I gotta take off. I just want to wish you guys a lot of luck. I'll be donating. Tomorrow I'll be checking it out. So
Same tomorrow.
definitely good luck with this, and I wish you guys the best.
Thank you all for supporting. And yes, I'm going to wrap it up now. We've been on it and realize we're on for 2 hours. That's what happens when you're talking to a lot of cool people. So I do appreciate you guys. Thank you guys, the nerds, and Anibal. For some reason, he comes in and out. I think he's playing hopscotch. But I appreciate every single one of you. Check it out.
Thanks, Sam.
And also check out, for those who are watching this for the first time, check out Anibau's Facebook. He does a lot of commission work. Does really good stuff. I'll see you soon. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, everybody. Nerds at around. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Daphne. I will
Thanks,
talk to
Sam.
you guys soon.
All right. See you later.
Peace.